Ah, hello, stranger. You must be the one here to tour the beautiful property before you. Quite excellent. I'm so happy to hear it. I'm glad that we have the chance to finally meet in person. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you over the phone, and hopefully I can help set your mind at ease on your long, long search for a home worthy of your specific needs. Perfect. Well, I am your humble real estate agent, here to make this process as easy and, dare I say, enjoyable as possible. Well, I'm so happy to see the enthusiasm. Well, I won't waste your time. I could tell that on the phone you are someone of importance and someone who dabbles in the arts, shall I say. So I know that you are eager to get back to work, so I will get right to it. This is parcel number 81926. Exquisite property, exceedingly expensive, and as you can see, we do have a few structures dotted around, and of course we will get to those, as well as your private beach in the back. But of course we will begin inside, so please stick with me, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed in what I have to show you. The house is home to quite a few surprises. I know that you stated you are looking for a bit of a secluded residence to, how did you put it, hone your skills, polish your craft. Right. Well, I don't think you will be disappointed in this property. As you can see, it is a recommissioned and repurposed former Pillager watchtower. No worries, this has not been used for those purposes in quite a few years, so this has been remodeled and fully remodeled, might I add, into a beautiful estate that I think not only will suit your very specific and, might I say, very difficult to find needs, but also give you that comfort that you would find in a traditional home. Well, I also might add that the former occupant of this home was a former client of mine as well, and although they have mysteriously disappeared, we have unfortunately had quite a difficult time finding a new owner of this property, only because of most people want those traditional features found in a home, and not many are like you who are looking for the types of features that this home has to offer. The former owner was, well, let's just say, had quite the eclectic taste. A taste for the theatrics, like you, and I'm sure will be a quite easy pairing with your personal taste. But without further ado, why don't we go ahead and take a stroll and take a peek inside? Excellent, please follow me. And here we are on the first of 5 floors in your potentially new home. Of course, with the tower-like structure of this repurposed pillager outpost, we have that verticality that offers a variety of floors, but with a quite small footprint, which leaves room for additional structure builds in the exterior of this tower on the other parts of the grounds, as well as just that cozy and, dare I say, expansive feel throughout due to the separation of the various floors and rooms. But of course, this is the most basic room in the house, I assure you of that. The most eclectic is to come. The floor you see before you doubles as a dining room as well as your primary kitchen. As you can see, we do have a furnace as well as a smoker there in the back. We have a bar-style table which provides ample space throughout the floor, but also provides ample seating if you do care to entertain guests or perhaps just enjoy a bit of a spread when it comes to your evening dining or your meals throughout the day. Of course, you have views there from multiple windows across the four walls. We do have a staircase leading upstairs as well as downstairs to the basement, which we will take a look at next. We have magenta carpeting covering the locally sourced birchwood hardwood floor, which you will find throughout the home. The birchwood was inlaid as the primary flooring throughout the structure. Of course, we do have various floors that, or flooring that has covered, such as the plush carpeting in the bedroom, as well as some of the rug work that you see here before you. I do find that the mix of cobblestone with the locally sourced hardwood, as well as that dark wood that you see there, provides that ample, almost warmth from the wood, but also that safety and security offered by the cobblestone. It's, I think, a very healthy mix and is one thing that is quite enjoyable about these traditional pillager builds. You enjoy the amber lighting. It does have that nice warmth and I just, dare I say, cozy feel. Almost feels as though you are tucked in under a warm blanket and settled in for the night. And I do assure you, you will find that on every floor in this property. Well, perhaps almost every floor. We do have a few interesting choices in terms of decor from the previous owner, and that leads me into the next floor in which I'd like to show you, and that is the basement. So if you will, just follow me down those stairs, and please do watch your step. Well, as I stated before, the former resident of this home had quite the eclectic taste in terms of decor. This is the basement room, and as you can see is quite equipped with a dark and moody atmospheric design. A comforting look to some, not quite my cup of tea, but you do quite like it. Well, that is perfect because this house is, well, it's full of surprises like these, if I can be so bold. But as you can see, the former occupant was quite involved in the study of the nether and research into accessing it and things like that. That is until the unfortunate disappearance, which I'm sure that details on the whereabouts of my former client will soon turn up. But as you can see, we do have a quite distinct artwork there, as well as some rather unusual artwork there displayed behind the tinted glass. But of course you can rearrange and redecorate this room as you see fit, and it's actually perfect for what you're looking for. Well, that is quite surprising and quite relieving to hear, because usually this is the part of the tour in which the hopeful purchasers of this property dart for the door and go with a different real estate agency altogether. So I am so thrilled that this is right up your alley. Well, as you can see, this room is equipped with what looks like a functioning nether portal. I do find the ominous voices that occasionally emit from it a bit unnerving, but I know that people of your distinct line of work often find it quite alluring. So if I can say, I would love to show you the rest of the home. Excellent. Well, please, right this way and do mind those steps. Let's go. And now that we've made our way back up from the basement, which I must say, the amber glow of the lighting in these other rooms of the house is quite a bit more my style and my pace. I know you were quite a fan of the basement design, which I must say I find a bit perplexing from my usual clients, but of course, the taste and choice is completely yours, and I am in no position to judge. But this is a bit more of a traditional and nature-filled room, as you can see, the potion room. This, as you can likely guess, was primarily used by my former client as a room to grow various ingredients and things needed for tinctures and potions, things of that nature. They were quite the connoisseur of the eclectic arts and line of work. But I venture to guess that someone of your skill is quite adept in such practices. I thought so. Well, as you can see, this does have a mixture of that warmth and liveliness of nature with the various vines and mushrooms and flowers. As you can see, we do have an open air design with the doorless balcony. That is so that that fresh air and humidity from the waters below from the Calypso Cove waft into the room and provide these plants with the ample atmosphere needed for ample growth. The balcony there in the back, as you can see, is perfectly suited for a variety of potted plants and mushrooms that can be used for a multitude of potions. Right, so if you do have quite the green thumb, this might end up being your favorite room in the house. Yes, as you can see, we do also have a lectern that is perfectly situated near the window to take in the beauty of those cherry blossoms and give you a chance to ponder on your, no doubt, recent findings through your potion work. Well, I'm glad you like it. As you can see, the rug work is a bit different from below. On the first floor, we do have that nice blue that I think lends itself to the fluidity of potion work itself. Well, I am so happy that you find such comfort in a room like this, as do I. If you would care to follow me upstairs, we will go to the third floor and to the primary bedroom suite. Right this way. And here we are, one of the most customized and designed rooms in the home. The former occupant no doubt spent quite a bit of time placing their personal touch on this room, and can you blame them? The place in which you rest your weary head each and every night needs to be the most comfortable and custom and personalized room in the home. I'm so glad you agree. Well, as you can see, we do have plush black carpeting throughout, which perfectly accents the dark and moody design of this room, as well as the wood accents throughout. Yes, that the being in which you see there does come with the home, as any attempts to remove it from the property have been thus far unsuccessful, so I would refrain from trying to interact with it or anything of that nature. It does seem contained to this room, which is a beautiful positive, and it doesn't seem to be hostile or seem to entertain the going-ons of any of the occupants of the home, at least not to our knowledge or to our experience, but I would maybe stay clear and let it do as it pleases. Of course, since it is contained to this room, you will have to, of course, have it peering over you at times throughout the restful nights, but I'm sure someone of your nature is used to such things, hopefully. But it, of course, I wouldn't worry about it too much, just a feature of the home that you can look forward to and look forward to showing off to your friends for how special your home is. Right. And well, as you can see, we do have some personal bookshelves there to house your most private collection, as well as that dark and low lighting, which I'm sure will assist you in sleeping through even the most strange of evenings. But on that note, why don't you follow me upstairs to the 4th floor? Perfect, right this way. And do mind the creature. And here we find ourselves on the top floor of this beautifully designed tower. This is known as the study, or at least that's what it was used for by the previous owner. As you can see, we do have that beautiful, almost majestic red carpeting, of course, across that bright and airy birchwood floor, and these magnificent windows, floor-to-ceiling windows, aside from the, of course, exquisitely stocked bookcase there behind the enchanting table, which I dare say you no doubt will find multiple uses for. This is a place where you can gather your thoughts, peer into the vastness of the stars above, enjoy the moonlit evenings, such as the one that we find ourselves enjoying this tour on, as well as stroll out to the private balcony and take in the open air from your perch above. The couches and bench seatings there offer plenty of places for you and perhaps a few guests to enjoy your literature. And of course, you are free to mix and match and add to the bookshelves, but as you can see, you have quite a bit of time before you run out of reading material. Yes, I do remember you stating that you are a bit of a enchanter yourself, or at least dabble in such work, so I imagine that you will find this particular floor quite useful. It's a bit of an observatory of sorts and quite a magical room, a place that I myself no doubt would spend many, many hours. But of course, the choice of what you will use this room for is completely up to you. Would you care to take a look out the balcony and take a sneak peek at what your nightly views could be? Perfect. As you can see, we have a beautiful view from your private balcony, safely perched on the highest point on the tower, so you are safe from any of the local wildlife or, dare I say, monsters that inhabit some of the more remote areas of this landscape. But the moonlight is quite dazzling on nights like these from this balcony. As you can see, it's quite an open concept and blank canvas, so you are free to make of it what you will. And, of course, take in the aroma of the waters below, as well as the cherry blossoms gently wafting their scent throughout the air. Would you care to make our way, now that we've seen all of the floors in the home, back down to the grounds and see some of the interesting points on the exterior of the home? I'm so glad. Well, please, right this way. And as you can see, the beautiful private beachside cabana. Yes, coupled with your private beach, it is the perfect place to spend a solitary evening, but with a bit of that exquisite, sun-kissed comfort that a beachside cabana offers. Let's say that maybe you have one too many of your favorite beverages on your private beach, and you feel as though the stroll to the 3rd floor to your private and very comfortable bedroom is just a bit too far, and you would rather saunter on over and rest your weary head inside your private cabana. That's what I see the perfect night ending and becoming for someone like you. Of course, if you do happen to entertain guests, they, I'm sure, will not be too disappointed to know that they will be sleeping in a private cabana at that. So this, of course, does house a singular bed. It's quite modest in design, but who needs a decor-filled room when you do have the luxury of a beach just a few easy steps outside. Now, as you can see, we do have quite the interesting design, and that's quite the keen eye. This is actually another repurposed building here on this property. This, unfortunately, used to be quite the barbaric structure. Yes, I'm sure you are quite aware of the tendencies and nature of pillagers in your well-studied and well-researched field of expertise, but pillagers are well known for crafting crude and barbaric cages to house a number of poor creatures. Of course, the former owner of this property saw fit to have this repurposed into something more fitting to someone of your taste as well as standards. So this, I think, is quite fitting to the rest of the property in its current state. The moonlight in these parts is just a bit magical, if I can be so bold, but what do you say we take a stroll down the sand and see how those moonbeams dance across your private waters? Follow me. And here we are. The perfect, quiet, remote, but yet feels almost full of life location on your property, your private beach. As you can see, it is fully kitted out with the pair of birchwood seating as well as a nice quaint table to house that glass of your favorite beverage, or perhaps a mug of coffee, or even just a refreshing sip of water. Sit, enjoy a nice book, or perhaps bring your studies, your work per se, outside for a brief change of pace and change of scenery. You can enjoy the quiet lapping of the water, the cool breeze of that plains biome air, and maybe even catch a stray wildlife here and there dancing in silhouettes against the moonlight. It's quite a peaceful place at night, but of course enjoyable and refreshing during the daylight hours as well. I must also, though, warn you that there are reports and, well, more of legends that the Calypso Cove waters here are not as hospitable as other waters in the area, so I would perhaps enjoy it from a bit of a distance, or at least keep your toes out of the water, especially at night. But of course, the choice is yours. It's only myth, I'm sure, but of course I wouldn't be testing it, but it's not my home. So, on to, of course, more positive news. We do have sightings of dolphins in the bay that connects to the cove, and I think that from time to time they do make their way closer to your luxury birchwood outcrop here, and I think that if we are so lucky, we might even catch a glimpse tonight, but of course I do know that you are busy. Excellent, yes. We can head back to the front and take a look at the paperwork if you are so inclined and interested. Excellent, let's continue that way. Well, I have rather enjoyed this tour with you this evening. You are quite the attentive listener, and though I did catch just a bit of that look in your eye that you might be drifting into that mode of sleep, or perhaps sleep is on the horizon. I'm sure it's just due to the comfort and that energy of this place that almost lulls you to sleep, but I'm glad that you stuck around and stayed attuned to the details of the property. Now, what are your overall thoughts on what you've seen this evening? You'll take it. Well, that is quite good news. Well, I do have a bit of paperwork, then we can get that offer sent off to the seller, of course. What would you care to offer under asking? I'm sure that we can probably work something out there with the seller. You'll pay asking price in full. Of course. My. Well, it sounds as though you have brought quite the collection of emeralds with you this evening. I can see that you were, just judging by the sound of them, I can tell that you are quite serious about your search for a new residence. I hope that you put this place to good use, and I hope that your studies benefit accordingly. Let's go ahead and, I mean no disrespect, let's go ahead and take a look just to make sure. And yes, those are indeed emeralds. Well, I can see that no further offer to the seller will be necessary. I will pass that along. And of course, I do have a bit of paperwork that you should. A few of those emeralds in there are for me to take care of the paperwork. Of course, you needn't worry about any of the details. I have all of your information. What's a bit of gray area in terms of legality when it comes to someone of your skills? That's right. I will get all of that paperwork filled out for you, and I will send over confirmation in the morning. We should have you be able to move into this property as soon as perhaps next week. Excellent. Well, would you care for a personal designer to be sent over? I know just the one. I will have them sent over and go over any of the changes or personal decor that you would like to add. Excellent. I'll have them there the week that you move in. Well, it's been such a pleasure. I thank you so much for allowing me to take you through this tour, and please do contact my office with any needs that you could possibly think of. Excellent. Well, once again, it was all my pleasure, and please do have a safe journey, and we will be hearing from you very, very soon.